Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. This afternoon's topic, I'm going to talk about antisocial personality disorders. And in this video, I'm going to break it down into three subtopics where I get into the causes, the symptoms, and the treatments. But before I get to the subtopics, let me give you the definition of what an anti-personality disorder really is. It's basically best understood within the context of the broader category of personality disorders. Now, personality disorder is an enduring pattern of personal experience and behavior that deviates noticeably from the expectations of the individual's culture. It's pervasive and inflexible. It also has an onset in adolescence or early childhood and is stable over time, and it leads to personal distress and impairment. Now, anti-personality disorder is characterized by a pattern of disregard for and violation of the rights of others. Now, the diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder is not given to individuals under the age of 18, but is given only if there is a history of some symptoms of conduct disorder before age 15. Now, the symptoms of anti-personality disorder can vary in severity. The more egregious, harmful, or dangerous behavior permits are referred to as sociopathic or psychopathic. There has been much debate as to the distinction between these descriptions. Now, sociopathy is characterized as something severely wrong with one's conscience. Psychopathy is characterized as a lack of conscience regarding others. Some professionals describe people with this constellation of symptoms as stone cold to the rights of others. Now, complications of this disorder include imprisonment, drug abuse, and alcoholism. People with this illness may seem charming on the surface, but are likely to be irritable and aggressive as well as irresponsible. They may have numerous somatic complaints and perhaps attempt suicide. Due to their manipulative tendencies, it is difficult to tell whether they are lying or telling the truth. Now, an antisocial personality disorder has much more in common in males than in females. The highest prevalence of antisocial personality disorder is found among males who abuse drugs, alcohol, and basically who are in prison or other forensic settings. Now, some of the symptoms that will occur with an antisocial personality disorder are, of course, a disregard for society's laws, violation of the physical or emotional rights of others, lack of stability in job and home life. Of course, they're very irritable and aggressive. They have a lack of remorse. That could be sociopathic behavior. That's generally what it is. Constant irresponsibility, reckless, and they're very impulsive, deceitfulness or manipulative, and of course, a childhood diagnosis or symptoms consistent with conduct disorder. Now, antisocial personality is confirmed by a psychological evaluation. Other disorders should be ruled out at first, as this is a serious diagnosis. Now, the alcohol and drug abuse common amongst people with antisocial personality disorders can exacerbate symptoms of the disorder. When substance abuse and antisocial personality disorder coexist, treatment is more complicated for both. So when it comes to the causes, while the exact causes of this disorder are basically unknown, both environmental and genetic factors have been implicated. Now, genetic factors are suspected since the incidence of antisocial behavior is higher in people with an antisocial biological parent. Now, environmental factors may also be blamed. However, a person whose role model had antisocial tendencies is more likely to develop them. Now, about 3% of men and 1% of women have antisocial personality disorders. Much higher percentage exists amongst the prison population. Now, just like any other mental disorder, there are treatments. Now, antisocial personality disorder is one of the most difficult personality orders or disorders to treat. Now, individuals rarely seek treatment on their own and may initiate therapy only when mandated to do so by a court. There is clearly no indicated treatment for an antisocial personality disorder. Recently, an antipsychotic medication called clozapine has shown promising results in improving symptoms amongst men with antisocial personality disorders. Again, looking at this disorder from my own experience, it's basically a combination of someone who is very sociopathic in nature and someone who also has a narcissistic personality disorder. Now, when you put those two together, you really have a candidate for destruction because, again, this person with this type of disorder basically has no regrets for any of the structures that are set up in place, such as laws. In fact, a type of person like this is going to be very irrational when they overreact and they become very violent and aggressive. And some of the behaviors could lead, if the person is angry enough, into death of an innocent person. Now, this person could be anywhere besides prison. I know the article talked about prison, but individuals, when they come from a background in a structure that is dysfunctional, where you have one or both parents who also had antisocial behaviors, this is what you're going to get. And this happens in every community. Now, when it comes to treatment, I've done many videos on these disorders, and I find that a number of individuals, for some reason, are shameful to ask for help. But all of these disorders are connected in one way or another to depression, drug and alcohol abuse, and suicide. Now, the reason why the prison population has a lot of individuals who have antisocial types of behaviors is because look at what they did on the outside. And now, when they're inside, they're basically caged up. And of course, they're going to be their cliques and their type of gangs in jail who are going to be rivaled against their other prison inmates. It's true. I mean, what are you going to do in prison? You basically do nothing all day. You're caged up, and the rules don't favor the inmate at all because you have to get up when they tell you to get up. You have to go to bed when they tell you to go to bed. And the individuals who are in prison because they broke the law, and they do not have any regards, again, for the laws of society. And this is what happens when you become irresponsible. You lose your freedom, and you can lose your freedom really quickly. So my personal opinion, of course, I am not a doctor, I'm a civil engineer. However, I can study any behavior because you never know who you run into when it comes to connecting with somebody, whether it's male or female. You have to be able to understand the type of behavior because some of these behaviors, like this one being antisocial, could put you in harm's way. That's why you got to evaluate a person's behavior before you have any type of conversation with them. That's over the phone. That's in public places. Because the root cause for the degradation of the society today, is the behavior. Now, nobody wants to talk about the behavior. I talk about the behavior more because I manage people at work, and you're going to run into different types of behavior. So you have to know how to manage the behavior. Now, my job is to give you the information. I'm not here to counsel you. I'm not here to tell you what you need to do. What I do is simply lay the information out. And it's up to you as the individual, if you have any of these disorders, to seek help. I'm the first person you would run to for some brief information. But you have a number of these individuals who have this disorder because they don't have any structure in their lives. And it's very important to come from a foundation that you've been structured. Now, structure can also work in a negative way as well, because structure can also be dysfunctional as well as functional. When I talk about structure, I talk about functional structure, not dysfunctional structure. And you have a lot of communities, particularly the African American community, that has a lot of dysfunctional structure. And some of the inmates are black. That's unfortunate. In fact, 40% of the inmate population is made up of African Americans. Not 50% of black people, they don't make up jail. 40% of inmates were already in jail. Let's get that number straight. But not just deliberately talking about the African American community. It's all over. And it is very true. There are a number of men who have control and power issues, and they're non-conforming to the laws of civilization. And when that happens, they're going to react in an irrational way when they're told something. You could have this at work. You could even have this at school or home. Now, a number of these individuals, because this is across the board, could be suffering from an anti-personal disorder. And as I mentioned, this disorder comes from a few items: drug and alcohol abuse. And believe it or not, I'm going to get into drug and alcohol abuse in later videos, because it seems to be, particularly in men, that's what carries over into personality disorders like the antisocial personality disorder. So, what I'm going to say is, if you believe that you're having irrational thoughts, and your thoughts are very sociopathic in nature, it's definitely time to leave the stage of denial where it is and seek help. Because if you seek help, you're not only likely to save your life, you're likely to save someone else's life. And lastly, you're likely not to commit a crime where you end up behind bars around other individuals who are in the inmate population with antisocial personality disorders. So be smart, get educated. You live one life, make the best of it. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 401 Talk Zone radio show for this afternoon, Saturday, June 24th, 2017. You can tune in to the 401 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. I'm going to do the radio show next week because some of my audience personnel have been busy, and of course I've been busy. That's why I haven't been doing too much YouTube lately, but I'm going to get back on track with radio podcast next week, and I'm going to talk about the male gender and simping next radio show. It's going to be a good show if you want to get on the air. The guest calling number is 215-383-5785. And if you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 401 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes. And I'm giving it to you from a professional and mature perspective. Because on this channel, I don't engage in any debating, controversy, or emotional issues, nor do I participate in drama or unnecessary bickering because it's counterproductive. What I'm here to do is give you education. That comes from the information that I research and my own personal experiences. Because if you want to survive in the real world, you must have the tools to understand how the real world works. So what I do is give you the information that is also positive but realistic, something that you may have never had from a father or a big brother. But I'm here to make sure that you understand the real world so you can make better choices and you don't struggle. And you keep yourself out of prison as well. Why? Because if you have education, your knowledge is going to be very powerful. And if you have a business, a topic, or a new YouTube channel that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please leave your comment in the comment section under the videos. Make sure that your comments are pithy, no bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering, if you wish to opine. Now that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed afternoon.